Alright guys, we finally know how the banners for version 5.7 are going to look like, and since these banners are kind of a scam in some cases, I want to be completely honest and I want to give you guys some honest advice on who you should pull for so you don't regret your decision. So starting with the Pyro Archon Mavuika, one thing I always hear people say about her for some reason is that she really needs Citlali and she's bad without her. That's just not true. If you want to use Mavuika as a main DPS, then yes, obviously her best team is going to be with Citlali. But even without Citlali, Mavuika still deals a lot of damage. She's just not on that insane level where she deals way more damage than Neuvillette or Arlecchino. It's just that if you don't use Mavuika with Citlali, she will deal a little bit less damage, but it's going to be on the same level as Neuvillette or Arlecchino, maybe slightly below, but it's still going to be top tier damage even without Citlali. Also, another very important thing to keep in mind is that if you already have some very good DPS characters, like I'm talking Arlecchino, Neuvillette, or Navia, or maybe Kinich or Milani, if you already have those DPS characters, then you're probably not even going to use her as a DPS that often. Like, at least for me, personally, I use Mavuika way more as a sub DPS rather than a main DPS, because while she deals a lot of damage as a main DPS, I still have Neuvillette that I can use, and I can use Mavuika as a support for my Neuvillette, or I can even use Mavuika as a support on my Arlecchino team. Like, that literally works. There's just a lot of different team comps and different things you can try and do with Mavuika, so you really don't need Citlali for her. She's still gonna be good with Citlali, but as a main DPS, she's not gonna be that great or that insane where she's better than Neuvillette or better than Arlecchino if you don't have Citlali. If you want Mavuika to be on that level where she deals 1 million damage and she's better than Neuvillette, better than Arlecchino, then you need Citlali. But if you just want her to be a very good DPS, then you don't need Citlali. So with that being said, you definitely don't need Citlali for Mavuika, but you should at least consider it if you are planning on using her as a main DPS. Speaking of her as a sub DPS, I also have to say, I think her potential as a sub DPS and as a off-field pyro applier is very underrated. Yes, there is Xiangling, but who wants to use Xiangling after 5 years of Genshin? Nobody wants her anymore. And I've been using my Mavuika as a sub DPS or pyro off-field applier all the time, and she's pretty great at what she's doing off-field. So if you just want to get her as a pyro sub DPS, honestly, she's not that bad. However, I do have Mavuika at C2R1, so that is a little bit different. And also, speaking of her constellations, it's not really worth it. It is a lot of damage, and don't get me wrong, it makes her a lot better, but you really don't need it. I have Mavuika at C2R1, and I use her as a sub DPS, but I barely use her as a main DPS anymore. But either way, Mavuika is going to be one of the best characters in the game for your account, no matter if you have Citlali or not. But if you do get Citlali for her, then Mavuika starts to be on a completely different level. Like, then she becomes really insane. So yeah, if you are looking for a good pyro DPS, or if you want a character that's going to bring a lot of value to your account, then Mavuika is definitely going to be worth it for you, no matter if you do get Citlali or not. Now moving on to Emilie, honestly guys, I don't have a lot to say about her. I barely played Emilie, and I don't like playing Dendro teams in general. But she's very good in Burgeon teams and burning teams. Like, obviously, she's good with Kinich. I do have her signature weapon, but I don't have Emilie. Don't ask me how I ended up in this situation. I don't even want to talk about this. But I'm going to be completely honest. I think she's mid. I don't like her design. Her gameplay is pretty mid. She's good in those Dendro teams with Pyro characters, but, like, she's restricted to Dendro and Burgeon teams. She doesn't deal that much damage. Like, she deals good damage, but it's not that insane. She's good if you are actually one of those few people that want to use Burgeon teams or Burning teams. Then yes, she might be worth it for you. But do keep in mind, there's a lot of other characters that are very good. So really think about it before you actually go ahead and pull for Emilie. Now moving on to Skirk. I'm going to be completely honest. The hard truth, the harsh reality is, for most of you guys, she's not going to be worth it if you don't have Escoffier. I'm just being honest. Or maybe if you have Shenhe, you could make the argument, but like, I don't know how that's going to work. But for most of you, it's not going to be worth getting Skirk if you don't already have Escoffier or if you don't plan on getting her. If you do have Escoffier, however, or if you plan on getting her, in that case, it does make a lot of sense because with Escoffier, Skirk is going to be a very good DPS. Not on the same level as Mavuika with Dahlia as far as I know, but as long as you have a good team for her that includes Escoffier, then she's going to be on the same level as Arlecchino and Neuvillette. Now, most of us already saw her gameplay. There's a lot of leaks out there. Her animations gotta be the best animations in the entire game we've ever had so far. Like, her animations are insane. She has like 3 different modes. She splits like planets in half. It's pretty insane. So she's good, but if you want to use her as a DPS, only get her if you plan on getting Escoffier or if you already have Escoffier. And if you don't care about damage, if you just care about her design, then obviously go ahead. If she's like your favorite character, then obviously go ahead. But from a meta perspective, in terms of damage and everything, she's only going to be worth it if you have Escoffier for her. She loses like 30% or 40%, maybe even 50%, I don't know. But she loses at least like 30 to 40% of her damage without Escoffier in her team. So just keep that in mind, alright? Now moving on to Shenhe, let's be honest guys. Why the fuck would you pull Shenhe if we have Escoffier? You could pull for Shenhe in case you still want that additional cryo buffer, if you want that support for those cryo teams, but it's just not really worth it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, the only reason why anyone would pull for Shenhe in this day and age is because she's hot, right? She's one of the hottest characters in the game. I think we can all agree on that. For me, that is not enough of a reason to actually pull for her, but like, if you want to goon to her, bro, just go ahead and get her. At this point, it's not even about damage anymore. Just go ahead, get her, do whatever you want with her. But in terms of general account value, in terms of her actual abilities and her gameplay and everything, she's not really worth it anymore. Especially now that we have Escoffier, she's just not really worth it. But anyway, let me know down below in the comments who you are going to pull for. Let me know if you are going to pull for Skirk or not. And as always, I wish everyone a nice and wonderful day.